film has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, good morning and welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. My name is Betty Akuku, I'm your host for today. And today I am very happy to have you as my viewers. I also have a guest in studio, and shortly we're going to get into a topic that I'm so sure you want to tune into and listen carefully. My guest will introduce herself. Welcome.
Thank you, Betty. My name is Pauline Gikanga. I am a counselor by profession. And I'm married and I'm a mother of 2. Yes.
Welcome, Pauline, to our studios.
Thank you.
So we're going to be talking about settling in marriage.
Yes.
Pauline, a lot of marriages are really struggling. When everybody's coming together to say I do, the main thing is that they do and they wish to stay forever until death do them part. No one is getting into marriage to struggle. No one is getting into marriage to walk out after some time. And no one is also getting into marriage to be sad and not enjoy. What is the time that people actually settle? Because for lack of settling, there's a lot of quitting and walking out and unhappiness. What is the time that people settle? When they say I do, how long does it take to settle?
All right. I know research talks about, at times you'll hear people say the first 5 years, the first 10 years. But I'm a believer that you can be 20 years in marriage and never really settled in your marriage.
Oh my.
So for me, I think settling in marriage is deliberately purposing to know each other from the word go. It's unfortunate that some people get into marriage without prior preparation. Like you just got pregnant, so let's get married. At times the parents actually say now they need to get married because they are pregnant. But pregnancy is not a cause for marriage. And so people don't put in a lot of preparation. Like we put in a lot of preparation in our education, you know, you go to tertiary, secondary. So at times we just get into there. But people don't realize the need of things like premarital counseling.
I am talking about education. You know, people get into education and study certain courses and get to a point and they're like, this is not what I wanted to study. This was never my passion. My parents pushed me into it. It's unfortunate that even marriage people doing this way. You know, I love that guy. I was getting old. I was already 30. I feared starting afresh, another relationship. He already made me pregnant. So I didn't have another way except just to get into marriage with him.
Exactly.
I think it's a very key point. It does happen. Do you think these people are struggling to settle? Is it a good place to start marriage from?
Well, I've had people say, and people say a lot, that we are not compatible, so it's not working. I always say, as long as you're in marriage, even if you started at the wrong footing, you can decide to make it right. So it's all dependent on you both, because you found yourselves there. It's not good to keep jumping from one marriage to another. So how about saying, okay, we are in this, we need to make things work, we need, because there's no uniqueness in any marriage. Any marriage needs working. There's no like this marriage is from, you know. Every marriage needs people to work at it.
Every marriage. It needs some hard work.
It needs hard work. Marriage works, but it is work in itself. And so a couple can decide, you know what, we were pushed to this, we pushed ourselves to this, we got pressure and got ourselves here, but how about let's just decide, let's start.
Let's start.
Why keep struggling in this? What are the fundamentals about marriage? And so people can start there and decide, you know what, we want to start learning about how we can really settle in every aspect that can make our marriage work.
What is it, Pauline, that makes people to struggle settling in marriage? Is it that there are things they were looking for that they never found? That now they cannot settle, even though the initial intentions were to settle and be happy in marriage? What is it that makes them not to settle?
You know, even with our siblings, we all have differences. So imagine this is somebody you are not born with. I mean, even your own parents, you differ.
I know.
So this is somebody you are not born with, and then you're into marriage, and then you start differing. So one of the major things I believe is the cause is the lack of understanding one another. Like understanding your spouse. Why does he do things the way he does things? Because behavior is caused by something. So one of the things to look out for is understand. Let me understand the family of my spouse. This person probably I'm going to marry, or I'm already married to, probably I'm already married 5 years, but we've never settled. How about just deciding, I need to understand, why does he do things like they do? For example, in counseling, one of the things we do is we like to understand somebody, we like someone to tell us about the history of their life. Like tell us about from probably your grandparents, not just your
really?
parents.
That
Yes.
also affects you.
That's also affects
I thought as
you.
you go to school and interact with many different people and meet with diversity, your thinking changes and culture slowly and tradition slowly fades away.
It doesn't, we are
It catches up with you somehow.
It does catch up. We are our environments. Where I come from, how I grew up, dictates what I do today. My beliefs, my world views were created. And that's why we are told formative years of a child are very... So we were all little one day. We were all children. So there's a way I was brought up. There's a way my spouse or the one I'll get married to was brought up. So you need to understand, why do they do things? Why do they look like less concerned about things? Were things done for them so much? Why are they, probably it's an alcohol problem. Probably it was in their lineage. Probably his grandparents or his parents were alcoholics. So what happens when you understand somebody's background, you're able to know they may not do things because they want to do them, but they are more predisposed to them. So if my parent was a drunkard or my grandparent, I am more predisposed. I can get it. If my parent was a polygamous parent, it means this gentleman will probably be attracted to, we are predisposed. So until you understand, why does my husband, why is he unfaithful? Is it that there was unfaithfulness as he grew up? Did he see that? And so probably he struggles not to do it, but because he was predisposed to that, he's predisposed, he's likely to do
it.
Yeah,
he's likely to get
he's
into
likely
it.
to get into it. And so at times you're feeling so unhappy about your spouse, but you really don't. You need to understand the genesis of how did it all begin, so that now you'll be like, would you need help? So that you're there telling your husband, would you need help? Because probably he needs help to stop his habits.
You know, the person who is asking Pauline that,
Yes.
do you need help, is the one who is ready to settle.
Yes.
I mean, this is the person who has made up their mind that until death do us part, my friend, I'm here.
Yes.
But now there are those factors, and there's this thing called settling. There are people whose lives seemingly is smooth, but somehow, if I would get from your definition of what settling is, you know, it's not just leaving your single house or leaving your parents' house to come and live with another person under one roof.
Yes.
Is that what settling is?
It is part of settling, but the bigger aspect is your whole being.
Yes.
You know, you're there, I'm in this to stay. And that's why you find some people get married, but they still want to live like they're single. It means they have not brought their whole
have
self.
not settled.
Yes.
Yeah.
You find some people get married, but I still want to consult from my parents. That person is not settling in their marriage because they haven't live and cleave. They haven't left. The husband says, I need to consult my that has not settled in his marriage, not to realize that this is now our marriage. We need to work it out. How will we be doing things? What are decisions when we have children?
The girl still hangs out with her single lady friends.
Exactly.
They still have their ladies' nights out.
Yes.
And then she's married.
Yes, and then
so
she's
there's
married.
little concentration on this. So you're saying it's the whole body,
Yes.
the whole being,
yes,
settled in this,
Yes.
agreeing to now submit
Yes.
and build and construct this particular marriage. Pauline, I heard you talk about age. There are people who have been married 5 years,
Yes.
others have been married 20 years,
Yes.
and they have never settled. What are they waiting for? What is it that they're waiting for to make them settle. How come they haven't settled? They packed their bags and came. What did they find out here that is making them not to settle 20 years
later
down the line?
Well, objectives of marriage. A couple needs to know what are our objective. For some people, the objective of marriage is to have children. And we know that the first objective of marriage is companionship.
Yes.
And this companionship, of course, has to come with a lot of being close to one another. But you find some people get children and then they leave this companionship bit.
They leave the first objective.
The first objective.
They neglect
and
it.
so they get into bringing up the children, get into career, rising in career. And so, of course, some of these things also will probably make you, of course, more apart. And so you're growing in career, you're growing in raising children, and then continue, your children grow, you get to an empty nest, so the children go, because all your focus was on children, all your focus was on working.
The emptiness
catches up with you. You get, and that's why we get people who are 20-something years in marriage and they are divorcing.
Yes.
They never settled in their marriage. They were there because of children. But a marriage without children is still a marriage.
It's still a perfect marriage.
It's still a perfect marriage.
Okay.
So that is just a byproduct of marriage, which should not come in between the two of you, because you're the core of the marriage. And
it's
so
just the two of you to make the marriage.
Exactly.
It doesn't require children to make the marriage.
It does not require. And that's why you find some people with children and they'll still part. Because they've never really cemented their being, deliberate in having the company, having intimacy with each other. I keep saying,
time together.
Intimacy is intimacy. You know, you're not a soulmate to your spouse. And so
I like that, intimacy.
Intimacy.
Yes, see my heart, see my feelings, see my thoughts, see my body, see everything about me.
Exactly.
Not on the outside,
not on the others,
inside.
Yes. And so you realize, you'll find that couples rarely even have time for one another.
Even just conversation.
Even just sitting. You know, it's evening, homework, what? Oh my God, I need to iron for tomorrow. Then you realize, so we actually are just roommates or housemates. We just, and so you get to a point and say, we don't really need each other. There's really nothing.
You're
and
together for the children's sake.
Exactly.
So how about those who don't have children?
Again, now that's another issue. That comes in like what I said, objective. There are people without children who will not make it in their marriage. Because their objectives, and when I said about objective, it is important for a couple when they come together to tell each other what narrative do they have about marriage. Because then they have to be on one understanding. What is marriage to them?
Yeah.
You know, what is marriage to them? And so if marriage to them is children, what if they don't have,
then
they don't make it?
Yes. But the reason I am concerned about this topic of settling in marriage is not just because a lot of people are quitting or that the rate of divorce is so high and separation, and many people are opting to stay single. But the major reason is some people, though they want to settle, they are doing so for the wrong reasons. So there are people who are waiting to have children to settle. They get married, but they're like, let's see. If I get children, then I'm here to stay.
Yes.
So even if my husband goes abroad or my wife goes wherever, as long as there are children, this is a tie for us to continue in this marriage. Some people even get children, Pauline, but as long as there are no sons in this marriage, they still don't settle.
It's not a marriage.
Some people, if they're not accepted by their in-laws or their close relatives, then they don't settle.
Yeah.
It's not about their spouse. It's always like, do their people accept me? So if they do, fine, I'm good here. I can settle. I have children, yes, but do I have sons? If I don't, I can't settle. What is it that, where have people lost it? Like you said, it is in the objectives. When are you supposed to settle? When, after what has happened?
Well, I must say, I appreciate culture, but I must say culture is not always positive, depending on how we take it. You see, some people believe culture is when you get married, you belong to the community needs to approve of you, you know, your in-laws have to approve of you.
If you come from the West, you must know how to slaughter a chicken and cook ugali.
Yes, and I mean, those are qualifications which will either qualify you or disqualify you. But I think if your spouse qualifies you and you qualify each other, for me, that's it. For me, you should settle. Because it means I'll be able to stand up for my husband at my parents' side or my side. He should be able to stand up for me on his side.
Even when I cannot slaughter that chicken,
even when I cannot slaughter
home.
Exactly. You'll not be there when I'm being asked, why can't you do? He say, oh no, Pauline is not able to, but I can help. He'll stand up for me. Of course, there are those things you can learn along the way. Because I'm not also saying we need to be defiant. Because I keep saying, if you visit your in-laws or your I mean extended family just for a day, there are those things you can decide.
You just go out of yourself and do.
Yeah.
So I'm not don't do them all the time.
You don't do them all
with
the
your
time.
stick-ons, you know, you
Just
can
do.
still
There are places you go, you're told serve your husband. But then at home, it's self-service, and you're thinking, oh my God, I've never served him. But then, because of culture, you can decide it doesn't harm. Let me serve my husband. Then you serve him and then give it to. It's just a day. It won't harm.
You can bear the smoky
You can
kitchen.
bear that. But if it's something that is going against your values, I think it is okay to stand up and say, you know what? And that's why we encourage couples, have a culture for yourself. Me and my husband, you and your husband, what's your culture? What's your uniqueness? So that we are not doing marriage wholesale. The way you do is what we do. I have a culture.
This is the Western culture.
Have your own culture as a person. And so, for example, let me come back to the issue of children. Is a spouse ready to stand up? I mean, having children, it could be the issue of a husband. It could be the issue of a wife. And it could be just God's thing.
I know.
That
sometimes there's no problem in either of you.
He gives when he wants, because the gift is his.
Yes, exactly.
So fine, we know you have sex, you have a child, but it's not always so.
Yes.
And so for me, if your objective is companionship, and you know that even without children, we are a marriage, you're able, if fertility issues come in marriage, you're able to stand up for your spouse. I remember when we got married with my husband, just to self-disclose a bit, we wanted a child immediately. But we couldn't get, because we were at that age of, you know, there's the age where you don't wait.
Yes, yes.
Like, let's get married. We have waited upon the Lord. Now we need to have children.
I know.
But we couldn't. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I remember we go for occasions, his side or my side, and stomach, nothing.
Everyone is checking.
Exactly.
There's nothing inside.
Yeah, but my husband would really. I remember one time there was someone who was quite nasty to me, and he just came and pulled me, and he said, no, let's eat and go. He shielded me. So when you're innate together, you're able, it's our thing. It is not my wife. In our case, I had the infertility issue. So I was on a lot of treatment.
Yes.
But finally, it actually didn't work. But after the 4th year, towards the 5th, we miraculously got a child.
Wow.
So, thank you. So, but you see, he shielded me.
Yes, and that gave you a lot of hope and strength.
Yes, he affirmed me. I mean, we are okay. He kept telling me, we don't have to have a child. We are fine just that we are a marriage. And then after that, we thought we'd get a child immediately after that. But 2.5 years later, we couldn't still have a child. And so we decided, apparently during dating, we had said we would want 2 biological children and an adopted child. We didn't know also God was probably preparing, as he knew we. So at this point, we decided, let's adopt a child. And I remember asking my husband, will it be okay for when we are telling our parents, what will they think? And he said, it's our decision. So we are going to inform them. So you see, it is our decision. We are not asking for permission. So we are in it together. Whether you're for it, you're not for it, this is our decision. So we went to both of our parents. Thankfully, they were positive, and we went on. And we have had an amazing journey with her. But you see, some other people will be like, we cannot. People will be saying we bought a child.
I know.
This culture thing.
Yes.
Very many things.
Culture and society.
Yes.
These are two or one intertwined thing.
Yes.
That is really killing.
Yes,
a lot of people. People are getting into marriage, of course, with the right purpose and objectives. But soon after, when things don't happen as they want,
yes,
now culture begins to speak louder.
Exactly.
Society now begins to speak louder.
Exactly.
And it overrules all your values.
All your values.
You know?
Yes.
And people are also concerned, like, is it because we left our culture that we are divorcing at a very high rate? You know? Could this be the reason of divorce? You know? To some people, culture worked in a very positive way.
Yes.
Such that when they laid it off, then there was struggle
Things
now
started coming.
in the society. Because now people are like, no, I don't have to cook. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this, you know. And because of that, the man grew up learning from his father and his mother, who were older. And same to the girl. But when you come up, everybody now wants to bring in their own thing. They have nowhere to learn from, and this is causing a lot of trouble.
Conflict.
What do you think about that?
Well, absolutely. Like I said, culture can be positive or
And
negative. And we can't completely throw it away. But we can have our own unique cultures in our marriages. Of course, again, too much of anything is poisonous. You see, the way we are knowing so much is also at times coming negatively to affect our marriages. And that's why, for me, it is when you're starting up or at whatever level you decide, you know what, we have struggled for 5 years, we have struggled for 10 years, enough is enough, we need to settle down in this marriage. Talk about what will govern your marriage. What values will we go by? What culture can we borrow? What don't we like? Probably growing up, you can even decide to say, what did you like when your parents were in their marriage? What didn't you like? What you liked and what you didn't like? What can we borrow?
Yes.
So you put it down. Then from ourselves, what can we add to that?
That makes it richer.
That makes it richer because we cannot say we can't live in the past. Definitely there's a lot of things have changed.
Yes.
And so we have to embrace change.
True.
But for me, I think cautiously, because I still believe, I'm a strong believer, there's the place of the man and there's the place of the woman in a home. I don't believe in gender equality.
True.
When it comes to marriage. Yes.
There's the
That's
place
why my
of
husband
each
can't get a baby.
Yes.
Yes, and Pauline can get a baby because I'm
That's
a
why
woman.
though you're the one who had the problem,
Yes.
you could not swap that role.
Exactly.
You could not swap that role.
So how can he make, we're just equal before God.
Yes.
But when he brought us down here, when God brings us down here, I have
has
different
the space.
roles.
Yeah.
And that's why you find a little girl, when growing up, she'll look for a kitchen, a little kitchen. She wants to do things, cook like her mommy.
Yeah.
And a man wants to do cars.
Yes.
There's that, everybody, we are designed that way.
Yes.
So I think embracing that. But again, each family can decide, we can share roles, which is okay.
Yes.
If it's children, we can co-parent, we can do it together. You can wash a baby, you can change diapers
Yes,
as a
the man can cook.
Yes, it is not a taboo if that is your culture. But of course,
and that
all the
doesn't
time-
lead you to divorce.
Exactly.
That doesn't make
shouldn't.
you to separate.
Yes.
You know.
And
That
there's an
should work.
in-law, an
Yes.
in-law should not come and feel like, how
this
can my
woman-
son do that? That's their culture.
Yes.
Unless there's, of course, disrespect, that would be unfortunate. But as long as it's working for them, there's no, this is the way. No.
Pauline, I'm setting out one of the negative things that culture brings.
Yes.
Like I told you earlier, you say in your case,
Yes.
that your husband shielded you.
Yes.
He took it as his responsibility to protect
Yes.
his wife or his family.
Yes.
But look at a scenario where you have traveled up country to the village and you haven't had a child, like for you it was 4 or 5 years down the line, and everybody is like, my friend, you cannot just be eating here and not bearing any fruit, you know? Yes, so something needs to be happening. And quickly they start feeding your husband with a lot of negativity on how to get a second wife, on how to do this and that. And so if your husband doesn't stand and protect you, how do you settle? You know, it's not easy for you to settle when you're not getting support from the person you live with. It doesn't become just your burden, but now you see it as spread to everywhere else in the society. And also when you have just daughters, there are those people who come from places where mtoto ni mwanaume.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So if you don't have a son, again, it's another
challenge.
blackout for you.
Yeah.
So what is it that these people need to learn? Because they discourage a lot ladies and small girls from settling in such kinds of marriages. However, my question would be, what do you need to settle? What do you need to settle?
I must say it's very unfortunate that, of course, and it happens, that the husband will probably be fed with a lot of, will even be told, even they'll introduce witchcraft to, I mean, can we do, is it because you didn't do something? Is it probably because you skipped a stage in your material, you know, those things that people do. I mean, it could be many things. And that's why I go back to seeing into each other, being very open to one another, so that you can face the giant together. We are here, we don't have a child, we are 10 years in marriage. We are bound to meet these challenges. What will we be doing? When we go home, what will we be doing? Do you have people working with you? And that again comes in, do you have accountability couple? Do you have an accountability couple who probably, maybe look out for a couple who has walked that path?
Yeah, you need to have an accountability couple.
I believe so much in real life experiences. And so when I'm going through something, I'll look for somebody who went through that before. Because there's nothing unique. Yeah. I mean, people who never had children even before, they managed.
At least you have had. People who have been married. Like recently I saw Dolly Parton, if you allow me to quote her name.
Yes.
She has been married 53 years.
Yes.
And she has not had any biological children of her own, you know.
Yes.
And she was still optimistic that they will grow together in the marriage, even over 60 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So look for that. So it's very important to feed yourself with positive things. Look for people who have been through it. Look for literature which says anything about it. But again, it's unfortunate because some people are weak and they are not able to stand up. And so when they are fed, they actually start realizing, by the way, this lady of mine, she's not. And probably they started off well. They were really into positive about their marriage, but then this thing came. And that's why, Betty, I'll go back in seeing the foundation is very important.
The foundation is very important.
So that when you're in that class and you're being asked, and you can do it at whatever time, even if you didn't do it and you had 5 years, we'll make you jog your mind and say, what if, like, reality checks it, what if we don't have children? What if we don't have boys?
That is something we should start with from the beginning.
So that, and you realistically talk about it so that you can have something. And if the two are honest to one another, I know there are people who quote, but one is not honest. It's unfortunate. Of course, we've had so many cases of dishonesty. It's masking into it, and so they get in and they don't make it. Those cases will always be there. But if it's a genuine case, they should be able to break down we call them the unexpected things, things that happen in marriage. I mean, like, we're almost obvious that in a marriage there will be children, but what if they don't get? That is an unexpected, because you don't get in expecting you not have. So what happens in those, really talking about it? What if one of us loses a job? What if, talking about the real things, would you want us to live apart? What if I get a job
somewhere else?
What if we have children? Are we ready? Can you stay at home? So that when you have children, the husband is not there telling the wife, now stay at home. You should have talked about it way before. So that
it's unfortunate, Pauline, that when people are quoting, there's a lot of masking. And so they're only talking about the good things, the lovely things, this is how I would want our romance to be. This is where I would like us to go for holiday. This is the kind of car that I would want to drive. This is the estate that I would love to live in. But now when you get married, there's no child. Someone who had a very good job now loses their job. And people are considering this to make them settle or to not settle. Like, if I don't get a car in 5 years, I mean, this is not the man I want to settle with. If we are going to continue living in this estate without us moving, I mean, I can't settle. So people want to settle when certain good things are working for them? Is it that no one tells them from the beginning, or they never talk about them? Because listening to you, I actually realize people need to talk about this from the word go. Like, you know what? We are getting married.
Yeah.
I know we are anticipating children, but in the event that
You don't have.
we do not have, what do we do? Do we get this couple to walk this journey with us from the beginning, or wait until it strikes? What do we do?
That is the ideal. We would really encourage people to start that way from the beginning. Again, it's unfortunate that some churches do premarital a week to. For me, a week to the wedding. I mean, what are you telling me a week to? I'm thinking
know,
about
my
the
mind is
decor,
so, yes.
I'm thinking about
My gown,
And
the
so
car
you
that is
meet
gonna drive
with
me.
the pastor and, okay, so submit. You're the provider. You're the what? That is.
And then the providing doesn't happen.
Exactly. That's very inadequate. And so for me, I really, if we could start way before, at least 6 months before the wedding. And so that, for me, why I say that is so that in case you're not comfortable with, because you will be made to talk about the realities. In case, we keep telling people, in case there are red flags that you're sure I would not want to live with, you're ready to call it quits. Every time I speak in a bridal shower, even if it's 2 weeks to the wedding, I still tell the girl, you still can say no. If you really feel there's something bugging you and you're sure you cannot handle it in marriage, it will, don't do it for us. Because most of the time, people are getting married for the society, for the family, just to be there. A year down the line, 2 years down the line, they don't, not even a year, some are not getting to a year, very few months, and they are off. And on that particular day, you look at them and they are wishing, and yet the pastor, even at the altar, they'll tell him, do you have any? They still give, and at that point, you'd rather bear that shame
It is still
and
the
say, I'm
society.
done.
Yes.
And walk out with your gown. I would rather that than getting into marriage and then a few months down the line. Because that's another ball game. You know, handling divorce, handling separation. You'll say you're fine, but you cannot be completely fine.
And people will see that you're not fine.
And people will see that you're not fine. Now, in case most people, you could have skipped the premarital part. And like I said earlier, even at 5 years or 10 years, you can decide, you know what, we have struggled. We need to start again. As long as you have life, I'm a believer, as long as you have life, you can still start again.
You can always start again.
You can even decide to relocate.
Yes.
Like the society, we have done things because of people around us. Maybe you live
even buy
with your
new
in-laws
phones and get rid of all contacts.
You live
and just be the two of you and start
Maybe when
again.
your in-laws are toxic into your relationship, you can decide, let's go away. Go and start and fresh. Instead of staying in it for another 10 more years, 20 years, for I don't know how long God will give you, and you're still surviving in a marriage. You need to enjoy, not to endure into your marriage.
You need to enjoy.
You need to enjoy.
And enjoying doesn't mean having all the good conditions.
It does not mean that. It means that you're able to work things around together. You cannot be without, you cannot, there's no marriage without misunderstandings.
I know.
But there's a marriage where you can decide we agree, we disagree, but we will never sleep without speaking to one another. Because we are friends, we have to enjoy this, we chose this. So you can still start again, Betty. But it's unfortunate.
You can settle.
And you can settle.
And you can decide to settle.
And you can
what do you
decide
need?
to
What
settle.
force do you need? What words must you hear? What is that tangible thing, if it can be touched, that you need for you to just settle? Wake up one morning and say, you know what?
Yeah.
I have to settle. I am not divorcing. I am not separating.
Yes.
This man has lost his job. Yes, he has not given me any sons. I wonder who gives sons, whether it is the man. Of course, I know God gives children.
Yes.
But people have very unique and crazy thoughts, if I would say, about the things that they want to receive or see before they can settle.
Because they can settle.
And yet, they are not the first ones.
Yes.
They have seen people live life 20 years without children. They have had it all over. They have watched.
Yes.
They have seen even their close relatives.
Yes.
But still, they are not settling. What is it that somebody needs to hear, Pauline? What is it that somebody needs to be pushed into or touch
I
to
like
just
that,
decide?
Betty.
Yes.
You need to get tired at where you are. You need to decide, I am tired.
Of what?
I have survived in this marriage. I need to have a change.
You must get tired.
You must get tired of where you are.
Oh my goodness, to settle.
And decide now I want to settle. I want to face things as they are. And so when you get there, you go out for help. You can probably go out for counseling. You can go out to a pastor, depending. You can go out to, you can join a couples group.
Yes.
There are couples, you can decide as a couple to be going for couple conferences to enrich. You can decide, let's start reading books together about marriage.
When you get tired, you burst.
When you get, you burst and say, you know what?
Yes.
I'm tired.
I can't keep it any longer.
We need a change.
Yes.
And you're able to even tell your spouse what you feel. And my prayer is, of course, that they would also, most of the time, one of them gets tired before the other.
Yeah.
And you find,
So they
but I
don't.
keep saying, when one person, like when we're doing counseling, if a couple comes and it's only one person of them who comes, we work with the one who comes. Because when the one who comes is empowered, is able to deal with her own issues, then it's easier to attract the other person. Because what happens, the two of you are struggling with different issues. You're struggling with what was put into you and growing up, this one, you've never really understood also why you do things the way you do. Maybe you need to understand your ways. And so you'll be able now to say, okay, then maybe I need to understand my spouse. So in the process of that, because Betty, you can be married, but all you do is push the other one away by how you do things. But now when you're, exactly, but now when you get help as an individual, because at times you'll see, we have people who come, even a man would come and say, I want my wife to come for counseling. Then you say, no, it's you who came. We will work with you who came. And so when he is sorted,
You attract.
he will be able now to, the spouse will see, and we keep encouraging spouses, and even for those who are listening, when one of you starts to want to make things right, please encourage that person. He may or she may have wronged you many times, but you can always decide to start again. It could be 10 years, it could be 20 years, but you could say, you know what, I am tired. And if one person reaches out to you, if it's you, the woman, if it's you, the wife, please encourage one another. That is the only way. No one is coming from outside to make your marriage work. You know, the other day I listened to a gentleman who, they had very major unfaithful issues in their marriage. And now God has settled them. And they deliberately also decided to settle. He tells me he feels annoyed when he sees women running to class in the evening to do their masters, but they cannot invest in a marriage class. So we are investing, our priorities are, you know, haphazard. I'm going to school, but I cannot invest in my marriage. I cannot do things that are making my marriage better.
The wrong objectives.
The wrong objectives.
Yeah.
I would rather go and buy a plot. I would rather, and it's not bad to do that. Couples need to invest, you know, even for their children and for the generations after. But what I'm saying, prioritize. If your marriage is hurting, don't go out to do other things. First, invest in this. How about even going away? If your children are a little older, just go away, retreat. Retreat.
Yeah.
People who are working in offices, they do a lot of retreats, but they cannot retreat with their wives or with their husbands, whichever way. So for me is getting annoyed with where you are and moving a step.
You must get to that level.
You must get annoyed. You cannot be at status quo. You cannot say, see, let me just, I mean, I really feel sad, Betty, when I hear women say, I hear women say, I'm in this for my children. Honestly, I know for some they are really pushed to the corner and they have to be made for their children.
They forget the children will grow and go away and they will remain.
Yeah.
Pauline, that's very interesting, and I want us to take a short break and we'll be coming back. Viewer, we are having a very partial break. We are coming back just now. Today we are talking about settling in marriage. Are you married? Have you settled? How long has it been? What is it that you need to settle? Pauline is saying, if you have not settled, you must get tired. I hope that after this, you really get tired. See you shortly.
There is a card that makes paying for almost everything easy like ABCs. No need to make trips to the ATMs to withdraw money or carry cash around. That's the Equity Bank Visa card, accepted everywhere you see the Visa sign. Use it to pay for food and drinks, fuel, shopping, pay for your Uber ride, shop online, travel and hotel bookings and so much more. Pay conveniently and free of charge. Card security is guaranteed thanks to the chip and PIN technology that protects your card from fraud. Start paying with your Equity Bank Visa card now and enjoy the convenience of not carrying cash.
And this is G Radio.
Hello guys and welcome. This is G Radio, #1 TV show, and we're coming live at GBS TV. And I'm your host, Isaac Tabitha.
I'm the co-host Evan Tinyari, and as usual we have our DJ Deco. You can also send your views on my Instagram page and Tinyari_Evo.
And also you can get me on our Facebook page as Isaac Tabitha. Thank you so much guys.
Keep it here.
Hello viewers, welcome to Women's View.
What you see is what you get.
Very exciting and fun.
We grew up in a certain community and we were told this is how women are.
Everybody was coming with what they can get.
This is not a joke. You signed up for life.
Very interesting.
A woman is this.
You want somebody else to do something for you that you can do for yourself.
You know what, you're doing a great job. You keep doing it.
You are going to school to become a musician. Like, seriously?
Okay, hit.
The show airs every weekday from 11 a.m. to noon and is repeated every evening from 7 to 8 p.m. I look forward to seeing you there.
Hi, my name is Zawadi. At Mahanaim, I studied to qualify for the IGCSE through the Cambridge International Educational Program.
We Mahanaim International High School students enjoy extracurricular activities such as joining GBS TV Club, Taekwondo, cultural dance, orchestra, swimming, foreign languages, community service, and much more. I believe this unique experience I gained here will go a long way into strengthening the future me.
The teachers and other ministers at Mahanaim spared no pain in running with us until the end of the mile, until we secured all of our goals.
And that's how I passed my IGCSE exams.
Mahanaim International High School cares about my future. Beyond our education, Mahanaim nurtures us to have bright and healthy mind so that we could become great future leaders.
Healing, hope, restoration. Amazing stories of real people like you who have triumphed over tragedy. Watch Turning Point International and be inspired to reach your turning point.
It really ministers to the soul of man, and as a pastor you benefit a lot because people learn and they learn how to cope with issues probably you don't even deal with in your sermons.
It's not reality TV, it's real life TV.
People have dominance over themselves. Why? Daddy, no money. Give me money, I'll buy for you. Hey, Daddy, I said I don't have money. Hey, I know, Daddy. Can the Ethiopian change his skin? Or the leopard its spots?
예수님이 우리의 모든 죄의 값을 다 지불하시기 때문에 예수님 다 이루었다라고 말씀하셨잖아요.
So Jesus paid for all the wages of our sin. That's why he could say it is finished.
Yesu alipa mshahara wa dhambi deni zetu lote, ndiposa akasema kwamba imekwisha.
하나님은 슈퍼컴퓨터와 같은 분이에요.
Everyone, God is like the supercomputer.
Upendo wa Mungu ni kama hii supercomputer.
Everywhere, GBS. Welcome back, viewer. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you are enjoying the show and watching this episode. As I told you, our SMS line is 21144. Please let us know what your concerns and questions are. We are talking about settling in marriage. And I asked you, have you settled? How long have you been married? You could be married even 20 years and you have never settled. Listen to Pauline. Pauline,
Yes.
welcome back.
Thank you, Betty.
We were talking about people who have not settled.
Yes.
And I told you there's this group who have everything they ever dreamt of. If they dreamt of a rich guy who would buy a car, buy a home, take the children to the best schools, and this man gave her daughters and sons. These people are also still struggling with settling. What is the problem, particularly?
Well, again, having everything is very relative. Yeah, because they could have all that, but miss one particular major thing. I believe that communication then could be having a challenge of communication. Now, communication, I would want to talk about it like in 3 ways. So one of the things in communication is how much do they talk? I mean, there are people who talk a lot, there are people who talk less, there are people who don't talk. That is communication. If you talk a lot, you're communicating. If you don't talk, if you talk a little, it's still communicating. So it's very, when it comes to talking in communication, it's very important to talk in a way that, let your spouse, for example, you can ask your spouse, how do you think our marriage has been for the last 5 years? So when you talk to your spouse like that, it makes them bring out their feelings about their relationship. So you are able to know, fine, you have everything, but probably, for example, a wife may feel, I don't get enough of you. And the husband will be like, but I have, the fridge is full, everything has been paid, I've given you
The car is full.
I've given you, I just bought you the latest. But you'll hear your wife say, our marriage has been good, but I've really not felt you.
Yes.
And so, after talking, the spouse is meant to listen. Now, listening is not our default. Our default is more talking. We like talking at times more than we listen. Listening, we are not taught the art at times of listening. Listening is just not your voice, listening to your voice. But what could she be saying? So in that statement of the wife base, when you're talking to her, she may say, she may even tell you, okay, I've not felt you, and probably next weekend, would you want to go for 1 day instead of 2? Now, if the husband or the wife is listening to that statement, he or she should be able to get the feeling from that statement by listening.
By listening.
By listening.
Not only with the ear.
Not just with the ear.
With the heart.
So she'll be like, oh, could she be saying that she misses me?
Yes.
And probably you, the man or the wife, feels that, but I'm getting more money for us. But this, she's saying, go for 1 day, but she's saying, try to balance for me.
Yes.
She's feeling lonely.
Yes,
she has children.
Because there are those people who, like we said, have everything. They have the sons and the daughters, the cars and the homes.
Yes.
The car is filled and the fridge is filled and everything is
there,
kind of perfect.
Yes.
But these people still go out and cheat.
Yes.
They are lacking something from this spouse.
Exactly.
And when they step out to cheat, they're not looking for the other rich guy again.
Exactly.
They're just looking for a man to satisfy something that they're missing in them.
Exactly.
And you find that they have not fully settled here. Yes, I am here because I gained this and this and this, but when I need this, there's this part of me that has not settled here.
Yes.
So I can get it from outside. These kinds of people are there.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you're saying it is the lack of communication.
Yes.
Do people listen, Pauline?
And that's why I say listening is not easy. It's an art. It's something you need to learn. And there are some distractions that you can get which make you not able to understand. I'd rather listen to someone. You could be defensive. If someone is telling you, you have done this and this, when you're defensive, you'll not be able to listen.
True.
Because you want to justify what they are saying. Probably you're also exhausted. If you're exhausted, it's not a right time to probably listen. So you could tell the one talking to you, your spouse, can we talk another time? So that when they talk, you can be able to listen, because maybe you would be fatigued. So you could be, it could be also an ego issue.
Yeah.
I mean, how can my spouse tell me if you're a man? How can he? But if you decide to decide that ego does not count in our marriage, I mean, we need to be intimate. We need to be, it's just us who know our thing. So let her tell me what she feels. Allow her to tell you, to talk to you, so that when you listen. And of course, after she talks to you, after you listen, then you'll be able to understand why she does what she does. Why is she cold when I come? Maybe she wants more of me. And probably you're thinking she doesn't like you, and so you go out looking for someone else to satisfy you. But you're thinking she has everything, and the world looks at that couple, thinks, oh my God, that couple, they're doing very well. So for me, the communication is everything in a marriage.
Pauline, like you said,
Yes.
sometimes the man or the woman is the defensive type.
Yes.
They have already put a wall.
Yes.
So whatever you pass in doesn't penetrate.
Exactly.
It just hits back.
Yes.
They're so defensive, they're so protective of their own hearts. In this kind of position, what should the couple do? Because you don't hit someone to break that wall in their heart.
Yes.
You know, you don't force it inside because you don't want them to listen with their ear. You want this to get into their heart so that they can contemplate and also consider what you're actually putting across.
Yes.
Who do you need to help you to make you actually settle, both of you, in this? Because I don't think, it's not easy to get to your parents and say, you know what, this guy nowadays, much as he gives you money, he does this for you, he bought this for you, he did this for you. Now you telling your parents-in-law. It's not easy for you to speak out to your parents-in-law and tell them, I'm uncomfortable with this guy. Or tell your parents-in-law on the other side that you're not comfortable with this woman. Who are you supposed to reach out to help you bring down these walls that are not allowing you to communicate effectively?
Let me first say that I would really disregard telling in-laws about your issues.
Okay.
If you could, because what happens is your parents will not be objective enough. And the other persons, we tend to love our own. It's just a natural thing, like, oh, my daughter can't do, oh, my son cannot do. So if you can get an independent person, maybe a pastor. I know some people have felt pastors have not helped them. Maybe look for a counselor. Some people have felt counselors have not helped them. Maybe look for a couple who you admire and you're confident about. Maybe research on it.
Who should take that step? Because, when a woman steps out and goes to Pauline as a counselor and said, now somebody comes, oh, Pauline, he did, this is what he does, and all these complaints, How does that help the man to also step out and come for help? Because some people still will feel, you accused me, we couldn't talk about it, was that the only way, How easy is that?
And that's why I said, when a couple gets tired of where they are, and they both get tired, or most of the time one gets tired fast, if for example, what you said, the man blocks, probably because of the ego. If a man really wants it to work, like they've been in it and it's not working, and now gets to a point of, what is wrong with me? He should be able to go for help. He may not be able, there are people who are not able to. And by the way, when a man is struggling with ego issues, they have esteem issues. And that is a defense mechanism. That's how they will, by blocking you, by not wanting to be told how they are doing, it's a defense mechanism. But they could be struggling from self-esteem issues from below. Some people were molested when they were very young. Some people were introduced to sex when they were very young. Many things happened to them when they are very young. And so they have never been able to deal with those issues. And if it's a man, because of the ego which they are created with, they are not able to allow anyone to penetrate. And so every time the wife talks, they block it. They want to bring out that ego, but actually they are hurting within themselves. And so I would really encourage this particular man to go out so that he will be able, when he goes for counseling by himself, he will be able to understand, why do I do the things I do?
I get you, Pauline, and I hope that somebody has gotten you very well, and I learned a lot out of this discussion that we have had.
Yes.
We are out of time, unfortunately, and I would like you to give your parting shot to our guests, to our viewers, and also say your last words to them.
Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. So, yeah, marriage is a beautiful institution. And I think for me, because of our discussion today, I would really encourage people. It doesn't matter at what point you are. Probably your 5 years, things have not really worked. 10 years or 20, there's still an opportunity to start again. You can still make it work. You can still enjoy your marriage. Don't decide it's over, you know, and then probably just walk out and divorce, but decide we are gonna face it, we are going to do it. So you can go separately to get help, and then to go together as a couple, and then you'll have a different new marriage altogether. So don't give up on your marriage. God cannot give up on mending your marriage. Marriage is work, and it works.
Wow. Thank you so much, Pauline. That has really been awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you to viewer for watching. It has been a blessing to have you. I hope